Mother.
There's a fog that surrounds her.
The House of the Dragon Season 3 Episode 7 trailer just dropped, and it changed everything fans thought they understood about how this season ends. Criston Cole is dead, Corlys Velaryon is captured, and the penultimate episode of Season 3 is now carrying more unresolved weight than any single episode of this show has ever had to hold at once. Will Aemond Targaryen finally ride Vhagar back into the war, or has Alys Rivers already made certain that when he moves, it is for her, not for the Greens? Will Alicent Hightower survive her mission to Harrenhal, walking into a castle where her own son is being turned against her in real time? Is Addam Velaryon's warning to Rhaenyra the signal that Hugh Hammer's long-threatened betrayal is finally coming? And does that betrayal happen before or after the First Battle of Tumbleton? Will Sheepstealer, entering the fray, change the balance of the air war in a way that none of Ormond's confidence has accounted for? Will Rhaenyra and Helena's confrontation in King's Landing fracture the most unexpectedly powerful relationship the show has built this season, or forge it into something neither of them expected? And with only one episode left after this, does the Season 3 finale end the Dance of the Dragons, or simply deliver the blow that makes the finale's reckoning inevitable? Every one of those questions has an answer in this breakdown, and this channel covers all of it. For every fan tracking every detail of the dance across Season 3, hitting subscribe and leaving a like right now means never missing a single episode breakdown before the finale lands. This channel covers every trailer, every scene, and every confirmed detail as they arrive. The single most important moment in this trailer is the one that every fan has been waiting for since Aemond Targaryen vanished into Harrenhal at the end of Episode 3, and Vhagar flew off without him into a sky nobody has been able to read since. The trailer opens with Aemond training, with Blackfyre at Harrenhal, scarred but resolute, delivering the line that immediately sent the fandom into a frenzy: "A new dawn is coming." The weight of that moment is genuinely staggering, not because of the declaration itself, which Aemond delivers with the controlled certainty of a man who has spent weeks at the bottom of something and has now decided he is finished staying there. It is staggering because of what surrounds it. Aemond is training with a Valyrian steel sword inside the castle that history calls cursed, while the woman who has spent those same weeks making herself indispensable to him stands somewhere behind the frame, and his mother is being sent directly into both of their orbits. Alys Rivers is seen working actively to turn Aemond against his mother, creating a triangle of manipulation within the cursed fortress. That triangle is the most dangerous piece of architecture the trailer reveals, not because it involves betrayal in the conventional sense, but because it involves three people who each believe they are the one doing the manipulating. Alicent thinks she is executing Rhaenyra's mission and managing her son. Aemond thinks he is reclaiming his power and his war, and Alys Rivers, standing in the fog that she herself described in the trailer as surrounding her, has already shown across 6 episodes that she is the only person in that castle who fully understands what Harrenhal does to people who stay inside it too long. The fog Alys references is not incidental language. It is the show leaning deliberately and for the first time into something the source material has always implied about Alys Rivers, that the things she knows about the future and about Harrenhal, and about the green fire that runs through Targaryen blood, are not entirely natural. Every fan who has been watching closely this season has seen the show positioning her supernatural awareness as real and operational rather than performative. The fog she speaks of in this trailer is being framed as something Alys can see inside, something that gives her information nobody else in that castle has access to. That framing changes every scene at Harrenhal in Episode 7, because it means Alys is not reacting to events, she is anticipating them. However, the situation is far more complicated than a three-way power struggle inside an ancient fortress, because Alys has already offered Aemond 5 hidden Dreamfire eggs, children, and a future at Harrenhal. Everything Aemond Targaryen has ever wanted: legacy, power, a dynasty of his own making rather than one inherited from a cause he did not choose, has been placed in front of him by a woman who lives in a castle built on a history of consuming the ambitions of everyone who enters it. However, unfortunately, The trailer makes unmistakably clear that Alicent's arrival does not simplify any of that. It detonates it. The most likely explanation for what Aemond's New Dawn declaration actually means for Episode 7's plot is not a triumphant return to the battlefield, and the evidence strongly suggests the trailer is misdirecting fans who read that line as purely military bravado aimed at Tumbleton. The proof is in the specific detail the trailer places immediately after Aemond's declaration. The encounter between Alicent and Aemond promises to be less a family reconciliation and more a collision of ambition. A collision of ambition between a mother and son who have always fought each other through love, rather than against it, is the specific kind of confrontation this show has built its entire emotional architecture around, and placing Alys Rivers inside it transforms the dynamic completely. Alys does not need to lie to turn Aemond against Alicent. She only needs to let Aemond ask the question he has never been willing to ask openly, whether the Green cause, the Hightower cause, his mother's cause, has ever actually been his cause, or whether he has been a weapon, dressed in Targaryen silver, since the moment he lost his eye in Driftmark, used by everyone around him without ever being seen as a person in his own right. The wound the show has been tracing in Aemond across 3 seasons is not ambition. It is the need to be chosen for himself rather than deployed as an asset, and Alys Rivers is the first person in his life who has consistently treated him as the former rather than the latter. The most logical conclusion from every detail in this trailer is that Episode 7 ends with Aemond making a decision at Harrenhal that is not about the war at all. It is about who he belongs to, and who he chooses to belong to when the two are finally placed in the same room and forced to compete for him directly. And if that decision goes the way the trailer implies, the consequence for the Green faction's coordination entering the finale is catastrophic. Because a Green prince who has decided his loyalty runs to Alys Rivers, and to the future she has built inside Harrenhal's walls, is not the weapon Aemond Hightower has been planning around. He is a wildfire nobody has a hand on anymore. But that development raises an even more dangerous question about what is happening simultaneously at Tumbleton, and the trailer answers it with the single most alarming image in its entire runtime. Addam Velaryon approaches Rhaenyra with a cryptic warning. Alys Rivers references a mysterious fog surrounding her, and Alicent is seen slipping through the Red Keep in secret. Addam's warning is the thread that matters most in that sequence, because Addam Velaryon has spent this entire season positioned as the most quietly perceptive person in Rhaenyra's orbit. He is the son Corlys never publicly claimed, the dragon rider nobody expected, and the man who has consistently read the political situation around Rhaenyra more accurately than her own counsel. The Episode 7 preview has Addam approaching Rhaenyra with a warning which suggests the Velaryons will demand answers before the Queen can return her attention to Harrenhal or Tumbleton. The question every fan is asking about that warning is what it contains, and the most compelling theory building across every major fan community right now is that Addam knows about Hugh Hammer. Hugh the Hammer has been telegraphing betrayal since the moment he was introduced, a dragon rider who came to Rhaenyra's cause out of ambition rather than loyalty. A man whose relationship with the Queen has always been transactional, and whose patience with a war he did not choose is visibly running out. Men's Journal has floated the idea that Hugh's long-teased betrayal of Rhaenyra could finally play out in this episode. If Addam has discovered that Hugh is in contact with Ormond's network, and the trailer's framing of the warning as urgent and private strongly suggests the intelligence is both fresh and dangerous, then the consequence for Rhaenyra entering the First Battle of Tumbleton is the kind of disaster that reshapes wars. A queen who believes she has a dragon advantage, discovering in the worst possible moment that one of her riders has changed sides. The evidence also points toward a third crisis converging on Episode 7 from the direction least expected, and it belongs to Corlys Velaryon and what his capture means for both of his sons. House of the Dragon Season 3 Episode 6 ended with Hightower soldiers attacking Corlys and his men, with Corlys collapsing before the screen cut away. His death is not confirmed on screen. That distinction, captured rather than confirmed dead, is everything for Episode 7's political architecture. Some early predictions suggest Aemond could attempt to convince the captured Corlys to abandon Rhaenyra and support Prince Daeron instead, creating another challenge for the Black Council. Aemond Hightower has never been a man who leaves leverage unused, and Corlys Velaryon as a hostage is the most structurally valuable piece Aemond has ever held, more valuable even than a clean battlefield victory, because it comes with a personal dimension that military force cannot replicate. Corlys spent most of Season 3 trying to repair his relationship with Alan of Hull in whatever time the war would allow him, a man reckoning with the specific kind of damage that a lifetime of absent fatherhood does to the sons left behind it. Aemond knows this. Aemond has been watching the Velaryon situation since the season began, and the most logical conclusion is that his offer to Corlys in Episode 7 is not primarily a political argument about who should sit the Iron Throne. It is a personal one. Side with Daeron, live long enough to give Aelin the Velaryon name he deserves, and spend whatever years remain in something resembling peace. That offer is designed to find the specific crack in Corlys Velaryon's armor, the one place where the sea snake is not Lord of the Tides, but simply a father who ran out of time to be one. The show has spent 3 seasons building that crack with painstaking precision. Episode 7 may be the moment Aemond finds it. And if this theory proves correct, the consequences for Rhaenyra's council are enormous, because Corlys' relationship with Alan has been strained by years of neglect and Rhaenyra's refusal to grant him the Velaryon name, which means that even if Corlys refuses Aemond's offer and remains captive, the political fallout of his capture is already reshaping what Alan owes Rhaenyra and what he is willing to give her in return. A hostage situation where the hostage's son has reasons to blame the queen for the vulnerability that created it is not a straightforward crisis. It is the kind that quietly destroys coalitions from the inside out. While the main military and political crises dominate every frame of the trailer, there is another storyline building in the background that every fan of the full season needs to pay very close attention to, and it belongs to Rhaenyra and Helaena. The trailer shows Rhaenyra interact with Helaena, with Rhaenyra reminding Helaena that not only are they sisters, but as Rhaenyra is the queen, Helaena has to listen to her. That scene is genuinely one of the most loaded in the entire trailer, because it arrives at the exact moment when everything Helena's prophetic vision set in motion this season, her warning about Alicent, her warnings about fire and blood, is converging into visible consequence. Rhaenyra sent Alicent to Harrenhal because Helaena told her something about what she saw in the green fire. She took a prisoner's word, a green prisoner's word, over the advice of every Black Council member she has, and sent her most valuable living hostage into the territory of the most dangerous Green Prince remaining in the war. That decision either ends in a political masterstroke or in a catastrophe the Black faction cannot absorb, and Episode 7 is where the answer begins to arrive. The weight of the Rhaenyra and Helaena confrontation is enormous because it is not a scene about power dynamics in the conventional sense. It is a scene about what happens when a queen tries to command the future from someone who can see it, but cannot control it. Helaena Targaryen does not choose what she witnesses. She does not schedule her visions around Rhaenyra's military needs. And the show has been very careful across 3 seasons to portray Helena's gift not as an asset, but as a condition, something that isolates her, that costs her more each time it operates, that leaves her responsible for what she reveals, without giving her any authority over what it means or what others do with it. Rhaenyra, telling Helaena that the queen's word carries weight over family ties, is not a reassertion of alliance. It is a demand made to someone who has already given more than any other prisoner in the Red Keep has been asked to give, and who has no further obligation to continue. The most likely explanation for why this scene arrives in Episode 7 specifically is that Helaena has seen something about Tumbleton, or about Aemond, or about what comes next, and has not volunteered it, and Rhaenyra has run out of patience for waiting. Connecting this back to the main story, if Helaena shares what she knows about the First Battle of Tumbleton, it changes every air war calculation Rhaenyra has, and if Helaena refuses, or if what she has seen is something Rhaenyra cannot use, the consequence for the Black faction entering the finale is a queen who acted on faith and may be paying the price. Every detail in this trailer points toward that confrontation as the episode's quietest and most consequential moment. After everything the Episode 7 trailer has revealed, Aemond declaring a new dawn with Alys River's hand on the strings, Alicent walking into Harrenhal to be weaponized against her own son, Addam's warning about unseen dangers that almost certainly include Hugh Hammer, Corlys captured and potentially being offered an impossible choice by Aemond, Sheepstealer entering the fray, and Rhaenyra reminding Helaena that a queen's word outweighs a sister's silence. The question every fan is now focused on is the simplest and most important: when does Episode 7 actually air? House of the Dragon Season 3 Episode 7 is confirmed to premiere on August 2 on HBO and HBO Max. It is the penultimate episode of Season 3, with the season finale following on August 9th. The show will have one more season following its third, with the fourth season set to be the final season of the series. That context makes everything about the Episode 7 trailer feel even more urgent, because the pieces being moved in this episode are not just setting up a finale, they are setting up an endgame. With Criston Cole dead, Corlys captured, Hugh Hammer on the edge of betrayal, Aemond potentially lost to Alys Rivers, and Daeron Targaryen still waiting at Tumbleton to understand what kind of war he is actually being asked to fight, the 2 episodes left in Season 3 are carrying the full weight of everything the Dance of the Dragons has built since Episode 1. Based on everything the trailer has confirmed, August 2 is going to be unlike anything this show has delivered before it. Now the conversation moves to the fans. Does Alicent complete Rhaenyra's mission at Harrenhal, or does Alys Rivers turn Aemond against her so completely that Alicent never leaves that castle alive? Is Addam's warning about Hugh Hammer, and if it is, does Rhaenyra act on it in time to prevent the betrayal at Tumbleton, or does the first battle begin with a dragon rider already fighting for the wrong side, and Rhaenyra only realizing it when the sky turns? And when Sheepstealer enters the fray in Episode 7, is Rhaenyra flying into a victory that finally connects her storyline to the wider war, or into the most dangerous and uncontrolled airspace in Westeros, with nobody who has told her what she is actually flying toward? The video on screen covers everything else fans need to know before August 2nd.